Alright, part two, because I don't want to make you suffer through an hour long video with this. Because Exade, oh boy, stuff happened in Exade. So let's start with 31, the return of Dan the Man, and basically his redemption arc? Question mark? So he introduces himself as Shin Dan Kuroto, Neo Dan Kuroto. And he takes over half of Poppy's arcade cabinet. And the great thing is they keep sticking with this too. In his character profile, it's Neo Dan Kuroto, and it's great. Basically, he backed himself up as a result, and he had the contingency plan. That's why. And Poppy revealed that she only brought Kuroto back because of Emu. She wanted to stop Emu from being possessed by Parad. So, what's it called? They get a call for a bugster. The Charlie Bugsters, The Charlie Bugsters, wreaking havoc, and Parad comes to interfere, but, Kuroto gets in Parad's way, and they have a fight, and there's a fun fight between the Charlie Bugster and Exade, where the Charlie Bugster tries to pull an ET with the bike he has, because it has a basket on it, and he tries to pull an ET, but Exade uses his stretchy limbs to kick him out of the air, and it's great, and I love it, and yeah, that was a great moment. But we're not done with the great moments yet, because Kuroto dies because of Parad, because a level 99. Well, technically Parad was level 75 or so, because Genmu level 0's secondary ability, aside from nullifying, Bugster possession abilities so far, is if he holds on to an opponent for long enough, he can decrease their level. Think of it as a debuff move that only lasts for the duration of the fight. So that's basically how that works, and it's great because we get to see Parad drop from level 99 to 76 or so, but Parad's still strong enough to beat Kuroto, so that's no problem. Then the most blatant ass reference happens, but it's after. Right, I forgot. So, the way they finish it is Nico comes in and does a Nico critical punch against the Charlie Bugster, and she gets the Gashat trophy. And as of this point, she has 6, I think? I believe it's, the first 3 games, Mighty Action X to Bang Bang Shooting, Shakariki Sports, that's 4, and then Geki Totsu Robots and Jet Combat were one of the ones. So with that, Kuroto dies, and you could just, you could just, how would you say, just suddenly appear, and that's the continue, right? Because, Dan has continues. But no, he comes out of a purple pipe that has the continue sign, flashing in all colors, with little jingle and victory music, and Dan just pops out like the smug bastard he is. I find that great because it's an obvious Mario reference, but also, you gotta remember that he programmed the pipe and the jingle. He literally programmed the pipe and the jingle just so that when someone tried to kill him, he could come back all smug. Both because, 1, he wasn't dead, but because it's possibly one of the most obnoxious and obvious references he could put, at all, that would grate any hardcore asshole who would try to kill him. His mere existence now is turning Parad saltier than a bugster that is literally themed around salt, and it's great. It's just great. Parad leaves because he's all oh, that's boring. But, basically, Mighty Action X Origin is the alpha build of Mighty Action X. As such, it comes with a continue feature. And, He goes from 99 lives to 98 lives. Other than that, what's it called? What's it called? Dan's goal. Well, basically, we find out that Poppy is Dan's mother, or rather, her what's it called? She's the Bugster born from Dan's mother. Apparently, Dan's mother was like sick with an illness or something, and so he turned her into a Bugster to kind of preserve her data in a sense. Really interesting that they're going that route. Basically, this also says that any person killed by the Bugster infection isn't actually dead. Their data is just recorded on the Goshots that the infection took them over, basically. Or rather, the proto-Goshots. Those are the ones that contain all the data. So, we have that. Also, we have this interesting conflict that, Dan's still a smug prick, obviously, but Emu still can't, he can't trust or work with him or, like, forgive him, because that's a thing that's going on now, that Emu can't work with him anymore, or not work with him, but he can't forgive him for what he's done, especially because Dan's all like, I don't think I should apologize when I haven't done anything wrong. He has that kind of attitude. That kind of attitude changes though, like he's fighting Parad, and wait, I keep skipping around, I'm sorry. Basically Nico and Taiga have a talk with Hero, and because of that, we find out that Hero, he fought the Boxo Bike Bugster back in episode, what was it, 30? 30, and off screen. The reason we saw it off screen was so that we could save the reveal for him having the Boxo Bike Gashot trophy. So I'm assuming what he did was let the right player that was being harassed win the Boxo Bike Gashot trophy and take it from him by saying, hey, I'm the medical person here, so like this is mine now. I can use it more than you can. That was basically how they put that thing as. But basically Dan confronts Parrot again. He's obviously losing. Poppy comes in, tries to talk Kuroto into his senses, but she basically has to use a finisher to beat, Dan into his senses. And she talks about him, you shouldn't do anything reckless. You're a compassionate person. You created me. You're basically my father, even though I came from your mother. And it's a weird little thing, but Poppy's all like, you're not, you just got to calm down. You got to think about things, She does this really comforting speech, and it's really nice. And they're having this nice feel-good moment. So Parad decides to ruin it. He puts in the Danger Zombie Gashot because he still had that. And it's shown that I think if it isn't Dan, the Gashot's going to be angry at anyone else, even if they're a Bugster, because Parad's like struggling to try and get the finisher off at first. And so he shoots it at Poppy and Dan, but Dan gets in the way and loses one of his lives by saving Poppy. And that gives Emu the justification to say, hey, listen, I know you're not, you ain't, we know you're not good. I already know you're not good. But, what's it called? You use that, continue for something other than resurrecting yourself. You used it to save Poppy. So, consider this your, not redemption, but your penance or whatever. And, Dan's the smug one as always, but, we finally get the team up between Exade and Genmu. And, he's all they transform together, and we get this cool moment where Emu hops out of Maximum Mighty X just to keep the level 99 form, but to have the movement of Mighty Action X, obviously. And that's actually pretty cool because it reminds me of what she could do with Kirby Planet Robobot, how there were some puzzle sections where you had to get out of the mech for a bit, And I don't know. Again, the maximum mighty armor to me is basically Kirby Planet Robobot. But we get the cool team up between Pink Sonic and Shadow the Hedgehog. And they have their catchphrases are cool echoes of each other now. It's all like, I'll clear this with no continues, and it's all like, I'll clear this even if I have to use continues. And, they fight against Parad, and it's a really good showing of them both using power-ups and, like, the various things at their disposal. So, Emu, Emu tosses, he tosses Kuroto into a power-up, invisibility. Kuroto gets in Parad's range and starts draining his health. Parad knocks him off, but he gets into the stretchy limb power-up and keeps draining him until, Parad's level 50. And then, they start, like, forming the block items and stuff, and they start bouncing on everything. And it's a really good fight with great choreography, because at one point all three of them pick up a speed up, and they just start going ham with the super speed, and it's just great. But yeah, eventually both Amu and Kuroto manage to beat Parad and send him packing for a bit. And yeah, that's basically the rest of the episode. Dan basically says, "Hey, I have gifts for you." He gives what's it called? He gives Nico a lollipop. Nico reveals she got the Giri Giri Chambara Gusha trophy, and then what's it called? The Doremi Fa Beat Gusha trophy is given to Emu by Dan because he cleared Poppy's game back all those ways. So Dan basically cheated the system. And then he gives Taiga a second Gear Dual Gashat Beta. So now Taiga and Hero can go level 50 at the same time, which is, I'm glad that they finally, give both of our supporting riders 2 power-ups. Oh, right, and I forgot to mention that out of that big fight between Emu, Parad, and Kuroto gets the Dangerous Zombie Gashat back, and it means the return of Dangerous Zombie. And, it's great. But Kuroto's this kind of comedic character now, and it's an interesting mix now, because, he's still got that cunning, crazy nature, but he's also has these very comedic moments. But basically, with all the Gashat trophies gathered, they realize the only Bugsters left from clearing the game are Graphite, Lavrika, and Parad. And so, what's it called? Basically, next episode is the final showdown, except not, because we're going to be introduced to our new villain. I say that because, oh boy, things are definitely changing, alright. Because, next episode we start, episode 32. Everyone's all like, the time has come, like the battle is approaching, and the writers have even more incentive, because during a struggle at the beginning, where they fight Graphite, who's level 99 now, Lavrika, who still can't be hit normally, and Parad, who's pretty powerful, they find out that Hero's father's been playing Kamen Rider Chronicle, and it's this funny moment where Hero's father gets ousted after he loses his transformation, and he tries to hide himself with his tie. But eventually they retreat, and they're trying to they're more determined to beat Lavrika first, and then save Graphite and Parad for later. So the basic idea is, what's it called? Find out what's the deal with Kamen Rider Chronicle and what happens when you clear the game. Meanwhile, Masamune Dan, it's why I'm calling Dan Kuroto now, Kuroto because it's his first name. So Masamune gets released from prison, right? Because, Kuroto's been pegged as the mastermind behind Zero Day. So, he's reassuring his company that, all is going to be well, I'm going to get us through it, I'm not going to let this company sink. and he means it. He's not gonna try and pull some big stunt like Ren Lavrika did. But Ren shows up on the scene and he's all like, it's all like, this is my company. It's all like, you shouldn't be out already. Blah blah blah, and what's it called? Masamune threatens him with a Bugvisor's way, but he's all like, "Oh no, 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 no! Only bugsters can use that Bugvisor's way." It's great because apparently it'll infect someone with a massive amount of the bugster virus if a human tries to use it. And that's when we get the big reveal of the main character player for Kamen Rider Chronicle. Basically, we find out by beating Parad, Lavrika, and Graphite. That would unlock the door to the final boss. The final boss is the ultimate bugster, Gemdeus. Gemdeus or whatever, Gemdeus. Even the bugsters don't really know who he is, but they're of no concern. Like, they have no concern about him because, Parad's all like, who cares about it? It's gonna be over once we beat the humans. We're like the high level ones. They can't beat us, even if they try to do stuff. And it's great. Also, we get a brief glance at the Gasha trophies for, or at least I don't know if they're like the actual Gasha trophies or if they're just placeholders, but it's basically just the regular Gashats if you win or whatever. But yeah, the Gemdeus is basically an omnipotent god with power surpassing all games. The only way to actually beat him is by becoming Kamen Rider Kronos. Cronus. I'll just say Kronos because it sounds good. Basically, Kronos can only be achieved by someone who is immune to all strains of the Bugster virus. So that includes all the base games, Perfect Puzzle, Knockout Fighter, Dragonite Hunter Z, and Tokimeki Crisis. And basically, what's it called? That ties into what Ren was saying about the Bugvisor's way infecting someone with a large amount of the Bugster virus. If the person has all the immunities to it, to every single kind of virus, then they can use the Bugvisor's way. The idea was basically each ride player would clear each boss because they would get infected by the boss. They would build up an immunity by beating them, and then basically get all of the immunities needed to become Kronos, or at least that's what it seemed like. So meanwhile, Hero's asking his dad to get the Ministry of Health to give them the Proto Gashats since they have data on the deceased from the Bugster attacks. But Masamune Dan is seen taking them from the Ministry of Health. So yeah, we basically get this night scene where all the characters are deliberating. It's basically trying to build up this big final battle. And so we get it, Graphite level 99, the Lavrika Bugster, and Parad Perfect Knockout level 99. All of them versus Hero, who's using, Tattle Fantasy, level 50. Hero, Taiga's using level 50 as well. Bang Bang Battleship, Bang Bang Simulations, Emu Maximum IDX, obviously. And, Dan introduces another level X0, or zero, level X0 or whatever. I believe that was what hold on, let me look back at the footage. Grade X0. So he transforms basically into the dangerous zombie suit, but with the gamer driver, and everyone transforms into their standard strongest form, obviously. But the idea is they're going to make it seem like it's this big final battle, but they're actually targeting Lavrika's Bugster maids. And, what's it called? Emu's going to reprogram them, and thus Lavrika is now susceptible to regular damage, and not just, what's it called? Sweet talking damage. So, they've basically gotten rid of Lavrika's only defense. Before, Poppy and Nico can come in to finish him off and get the Gashat trophy, right? Everything changes suddenly tonight. And there's suddenly a clock on top of the steps near the building they were fighting at. And the clock has the symbols to all of the different games and stuff. Now then, Masamune Dan shows up, and Kuroto is scared out of his mind about this. Because, he's like, why are you, he's not defiant as usual. This is, one of the few times we see Kuroto scared, literally scared. Not screaming scared like he was with the Ministry of Health, but literally in fear. And, Masamune is all like, we can't end the game just yet. It's a game that the whole world should enjoy. Trying to end it prematurely like this, he can't allow that. So, he decides to prove that he is a worse father than Bono, Gold Drive from Kamen Rider Drive. At least Gold Drive called his son Go by his name. Every time he talks to someone, he refers to them by the game name that they're currently using. So he says, it's all like, well done, Kuroto. No, wait, dangerous zombie. And you too, perfect knockout. And, he's all like, all of the games and Bugsters and Kuroto's talents, they're all, property of the Genmu Corporation. And he's all like, I'm the one who created that corporation. Kuroto, you may have been president while I was absent, but you're not the president, I am. And you certainly aren't, Lavrika. So he decides to put everyone in their place and transforms into Kamen Rider Kronos. Now everyone's trying to figure out, how is he able to do that? Well, Masamune tells them, Dan wasn't the only one who decided to infect someone, 16 years ago. Was it 16? Yeah, 16 years ago. Masamune infected himself with the first strand of the Bugster virus so he could build up the perfect immunity. And as such, he is able to, become Kamen Rider Kronos. As everyone's all like, you have to get out of the way, blah, blah, blah. Are all of our riders charged in, and Kuroto's all like, no, wait, And, Kronos shows off his ability. Pause. Basically, if you're a JoJo fan, it's the world from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. Basically, he stops time for an indefinite amount of time, and he can deal damage, however much damage he wants to. So, in the end, he knocks all 4 of our riders out of their transformations. So, Parad, Lavrika, and Graphite, they all charge forward, but Kronos is too quick to the draw, and he does a pause. He shoots Parad out of the air, who is stuck in the midair due to how he was jumping towards Kronos. Graphite gets chainsawed in the back, and then he does a Kabuto-style roundhouse kick to Lavrika with the finisher Critical Crusade, and kills Lavrika as a result. Game clear. Hero's father is saved from Lavrika's game virus because that's what he was infected with. But he has this killing line. He's all like, Tokimeki Crisis is no longer in stock. That's what Masamune says. And he means literally no longer in stock because thanks to killing Lavrika in the stop time, Lavrika has no more continues. Not, Lavrika achieved his perfect form, but there are no continues to those who die in the stop time. Oh God, hold on. Okay, so where was I? Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Jesus Christ. So yeah, basically, Masamune says, what's it called? Anything killed in the frozen time has no continue. So I'm curious if that also reigns true to Dan, who is a bugster basically now. So would he not be able to get his continue even though he has his contingency plan? I don't know. The episode basically ends with Parad shaken up that Lavrika is actually dead, and Emu's kind of like, oh God, what have I done? Because it's technically Emu's fault, because I don't know if Kronos could bypass game features, but if Masamune wanted to strike, he probably would have struck at any moment if he could bypass game power. So I'm assuming he waited for Emu to do the dirty work and then kill Lavrika himself. That's all I can assume anyway. Next episode, Masamune tries to bargain with Hiro because he has the Dragonite Hunter Zigashot where his girlfriend's data is stored, obviously. He tries to tempt Hiro. We get more fighting with Kronos. I'm sure we'll probably get more motivation out of Masamune. Possibly a more backstory out of Dan. I mean, Kuroto. Who knows? Overall, I'm looking forward to this because I'm really curious as to how... Because he's going to be the top dog for a while. Meaning Muteki Gamer is going to have to counter him somehow. So, how is he going to do it? Anyway, I'm Zero. This was a two-parter. Holy shit, this was long. Yeah. Remind me not to skip a week again. Anyway, I'll be seeing you guys next time.